Just imagine that you go out to a bar and you hear a guy going, "Ah!" Would you stick around in that bar too long? Probably not. What's up, guys? This is Matt from RamseyVoice.com, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. Today, I'm going to be reacting to Jeff Buckley's Grace live, and I have to confess, I absolutely love Jeff Buckley. He's a huge part of the reason that I became a voice teacher in the first place, because I couldn't figure out how to sing his songs. And not saying that I can sing his songs exactly like him now, but I'm certainly a lot closer than I used to be. Now, if you guys find this video helpful, make sure to hit like, comment with the next video that you want to see me react to, make sure to turn on notifications and subscribe to this channel. Or if you want to start improving your voice today, check out my complete singing course, Master Your Voice. Now, let's get started. I actually have those same shells on my drums. They're kind of like a Ringo knockoff from the 60s.
Asking to stay long enough for the clouds to fly me away.
Wow.
Well, it's my time coming. I'm not afraid to die.
Now, first thing I have to say is Jeff Buckley gets this reputation for being like very whimsical and very like dreamlike. And everything that he does, from the chords that he writes to the guitar riffs that he plays to the way that he sings, it all collides together to create this very, very kind of like angelic, somewhat dark, mysterious, kind of sleepy vibe. And there's so much beautiful stuff that he's doing. And even if you look at the lyrics, there's a moon asking me to stay long enough for the clouds to fly me away. It's very like dreamlike and kind of like noir, kind of dark. But particularly in the way that he sings this, it's very cool. He's actually borrowing from some old jazz techniques, kind of like some Nina Simone kind of techniques of actually singing with a lower larynx on those first couple of notes. And that gives him some of that dreamlike quality. There's a moon asked me to stay. It's kind of open back here. His larynx is slightly dropped. The back of his throat is slightly open to get that very, very kind of dark-ish kind of quality. It would be totally different if he was going like more of a speech level, like, there's a moon asked me to stay. It just doesn't sound nearly as cool as there's a moon asked me to stay. And listen to that vibrato. The vibrato is everywhere. This guy is so good at that. Let's see where he goes next.
And my favorite voice sings of love.
This is insane. So like he's already up on a G4 and it's just like not a big deal. My fading voice sings. There's just no issues whatsoever there. It's just so light. He just glides into that. My fading voice sings of love. So much vibrato, and he just goes straight through all those notes. Let's see what he does next.
But she cries to the kicking of time, of time.
Now listen to that part there. But she cries to the ticking of time, of time. Now, if you were to actually look at that kind of like in GarageBand, Logic, you know, whatever recording software you have, you would see that there's like a huge spike on that time, but a very, very low spike on the cries. So he's got so much control over the volumes and the dynamics of his voice. But she cries to the ticking of time. So you can see that this guy can do whatever he wants pretty much any time that he wants to. It's beautiful. Let's keep going. Now this part is less than stellar. He's got that wait in the fire, wait in the fire. I think he's just starting to second guess a little bit about those notes, or he's focusing a little too much on the guitar. He could certainly do that better, and he certainly does it better on the recording. But if that wait in the fire is a hard place for you to sing that note, what you could do is you could just do that with a harder consonant, like a and then start to transition that to a more neutral consonant, like a ma 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 ma, and then go into the wait in the fire. The problem with the W is that it's what we call a semi-vowel or a glide, because it doesn't actually start off with an articulation anywhere inside of the mouth. It starts off with a vowel. Wait. So you can see that I'm actually starting with an ooh there. Waiting to fly. So you're already starting off from a place of weakness. Not always, but sometimes, like especially when you're in the middle of your voice, like on this F sharp that he's singing there, kind of a hard place for a guy to sing. You might want to start off with a little bit more of a wait in the fire, versus way too much W will actually kind of throw you off. Little pitchy there. He's going for da 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 wah, and he can make that a lot better.
She creeps on my arm, walking to the bright lights inside. We'll drink a bit of wine, we both might go tomorrow.
Now you can see in the second verse here, he's actually using a little bit more of his full voice. So rather than in the there's a moon asked me to stay, being kind of really lower dynamic in this one, and she weeps on my arm, walk to the bright lights in sorrow. He's starting to use a little bit more of his voice, and it actually sounds like a lot more concrete. It actually sounds a lot more put together, and that's helping his pitch a lot.
Oh, my love, and the rain is falling, and I believe.
Oh, I love that. And I believe. He just flips into that falsetto so effortlessly, rather than, and I believe, singing in a mix, he just totally disconnects it. And I believe. And that can be a really great tool when you're looking for a lot of vocal flexibility really quickly and you need to make changes very fast. Going to falsetto as an effect there can really help. Now, I know this voice and I know this singer, not personally obviously, but I've listened to his music a lot, and I know that he can sing any of those notes any way that he wants to. He's just choosing to flip it to get there a little bit quicker.
My tongue is curved, but it reminds me of the pain I might need.
Yeah, so he's going to leave. He's intentionally breaking it, but he's starting from a mix. Leave, and then he's breaking it each time.
Leave behind.
And then, totally in mixed voice. Beautiful work. I'm so sorry for stopping so many times, but there's so much happening so quickly. It's like I have to just like call it as I see it. And in this case, you can see the wait in the fire, is so much better because he's actually starting from a stronger place rather than wait in the fire, which might break a little bit. Good. Now, just a real quick note about what he's doing here. There's so much of the kind of stuff that he was doing, and you kind of notice that that was actually the pitchiest stuff. And I don't know that Jeff was making these decisions consciously, but you'll see that he goes in the he goes for an ooh and an e vowel. And those are so much friendlier to those vocal riffs that he's doing up there. So he gets like a 10 out of 10 for bravery in that he's singing so much of this very like legato riffy kind of stuff. But he probably noticed even in this live setting that he was starting to go a little bit flat there. And so he switched over to that ooh thing, which is also on the recording, and it just sounds so much more in tune. He's like, wow, that ooh a second ago worked out pretty well. I'll keep doing that. Yeah, so he went up to an E5 and then a G5 on top of that. Just amazing stuff. That's pretty much the highest note in my voice, which is why it doesn't sound nearly as good as his does. But he does that in a very high falsetto. But because, and I want to clarify this, a lot of people will say that that's like a full head voice. But I actually believe that that's a little bit of a falsetto thing in that his chords aren't closing completely up there. Rather than, he's just going for it. And the reason why that falsetto sounds better all the way up on an E5 and a G5 than it does way down on an E4, you can really tell down there it feels a little bit breakier. Up there, he's so much closer to the second formant in his voice and the singer's formant above that, which is giving him a lot of extra volume and a lot of extra power with very little additional work up there. That's why he can make it sound so powerful, even if it's just, hey! So he goes in, and I'm feeling dry, and he pushes up to that note, and he's actually flat, and then he flips on my name. You can hear it here again, and that's obviously a choice because maybe, you know, he's not feeling the best about his voice today, but he's actually pushing so hard that he releases to get himself more into pitch. And that note was beautiful. And he goes, not afraid to die. So what's cool about that is he's really going for that note. But because he's dropped his jaw, rather than going, not, and squeezing with kind of a closed mouth, he's not, with a drop jaw, rather than not, and just spreading out as wide as he can, which he's doing in this particular frame. That he's getting there, that's intentional. That's all totally what he wants to do. And again, this is a singer that's worked with every inch of his voice. He knows exactly how to get what he wants out of it. And here he's probably sacrificing the pitch a little bit, and he probably doesn't even care because he wants it to sound that exciting. Now, just imagine that you go out to a bar and you hear a guy go, ah! Would you stick around in that bar too long? Probably not. But it's the way that he sells it. He has this bravery and this vocal daredevil in him that he's just able to sell it so well that nobody ever said anything negative about Jeff Buckley's voice, but you see some people doing the same kind of a thing, but not as well, and we immediately walk out. Now, the difference is that with him, he's got all of the chops to back that up. So you hear that he can sing exactly in tune, you can hear that he can sing in his mixed voice, you can hear that he can belt when he wants to, he can go to falsetto when he wants to, and so we forgive him and we applaud him when he goes, ah! It takes a lot of bravery to do that, and I just wanted to take a second and point that out. So he's going for that E5 just then. You can see that he's spreading his mouth wide in order to get the really, really bright harmonics, make it sound like he's really getting that, like he's working harder for it than he is. This is not hard. Not difficult at all. It's actually just because his larynx is a little bit higher, he's using a little bit more of that kind of bratty, and he's spreading his mouth wide, he makes that pretty easy. But you'll notice that when he goes up for that G above that, he's pretty flat. He like makes it to like the F sharp below that. Who cares? He was running out of breath. That's the real reason why. Wow. Okay, so I have to give this performance 5 out of 5 stars. There's just some beautiful stuff, and any of the little bits of flippiness or a little bit of pitchiness that we hear in his voice, we totally forgive him instantly because he can sing the rest of that part so well. The entire song, it's just vocal acrobatics after vocal acrobatics, and that's kind of really Jeff Buckley's brand. This is what he was best known doing for. He was just this amazingly flexible singer that could just have all this agility in his voice and just make it sound so great. And again, any little blip that you hear in his voice, you instantly forgive because you know that you can count on him to wow you for the rest of the show. Now, I hope that you guys found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, comment with the next video that you want to see me react to. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for this channel. Or if you're ready to get started and improve your voice today, check out my complete singing course, Master Your Voice.